let's go ahead now and continue and talk about our Shila that we're talking about today. These 15 Shilas, 15 positive behaviors and social qualities that will bring you more friends and more harmony in life. If you look at the ones we've talked about before, we talked about forgiveness, magnanimity of mind, perpetual restraint on behavior and temper, readiness to sacrifice everything of individual life for ideology, all-around self-restraint, sweet and smiling behavior, moral courage, setting an example by individual conduct before asking anybody to do the same, keeping aloof from criticizing others, condemning others, mudslingings, or all sorts of groupism, adherence to the principles of yama and niyama. Due to carelessness, if any mistake has been committed unknowingly or unconsciously, one must admit it immediately and see what can be done to make up for it. And today's Shila, even while dealing with a person of inimical nature, one must keep oneself free from hatred, anger, and vanity. So I will begin with some thoughts on this topic of how to feel free from anger, vanity, hatred when you're dealing with difficult people. Well, let's start with a story of from the Buddha's life. There's a famous story that you might know of a man who came to complain to the Buddha because his son had started following the Buddha. And the man was so upset because the boy left his house, was going to now be one of the Buddha's devotees, travel around with the Buddha, become a monk. So the father felt like the Buddha had kidnapped his son. And so the father came and started cursing at the Buddha, throwing every insult possible. You this, you're a thief, you're a charlatan, you're hypnotizing people, and using all sorts of curse words. And the Buddha remained very tranquil, very Buddha-like, very Zen. And finally the man said, I've been hurling all these insults at you, and don't you have anything to say? And the Buddha said, if you have an apple in your hand, and you hand the apple over to me, but I don't take the apple, in whose hands is the apple? And the man said, well, I suppose it's still in my hand. He says, yes. Same thing goes for your insults. You have thrown insults at me, but I haven't caught any. Therefore, the insults remain with you. So, the man didn't get what he wanted. He didn't hurt the Buddha like he had hoped. The story is that the happy ending here is, but no, let's not say the happy ending. Let's rewrite the story and say that the man didn't join the Buddha himself after. He just went away. And which is a lot more like real life. You can't always make up with people, but you can remain from hating them. You can refrain, I should say, from hating them. And you can refrain from having a sense of superiority toward them, from letting your anger get involved by observing. Just observing. Not taking things personally, like Don Miguel Ruiz wrote in the Four Agreements. And having some compassion. You know, sometimes you could be fighting with somebody and they look so angry and afraid, and then you can see their pain is revealed. And then you can, in that split second, before you react, you see them for what they are. They are in a state of agony. And that's why they behave in a violent way or in a negative way. And rather than see that as their weakness, you see that as the cause for why they're doing something to you, because it begins in them. The problem starts in them. And therefore they suffer. So if we can, in a split second or in a tense moment, think about all those things, by reflecting on it now, then maybe we have a possibility to behave like the Buddha in that moment, in those times. Now, I know you all have plenty of insights, and I'd like to hear from you. Let's see if anybody here has any thoughts on this subject. How do you deal with the difficult people in life? Please go ahead and start writing your thoughts. I can, in the meantime, tell you another quick story from my own life. Just recently, I was in a meeting, and there was somebody there that was kind of disagreeing with everything that I was saying, people were saying. And that night, to be frank, I couldn't really, I couldn't sleep so well. I had to really try to not think about it. So my strategy was to repeat my mantra over and over again, over and over again. And it wasn't working, and then my mind kept going back to thinking about this and that. But I did feel that within me, I didn't hate that person, wasn't regretting anything to do. It wasn't thinking, nothing, oh, I'll never talk to them again. I was just kind of, the moment was just replaying in my mind. And I was just observing the moment over and over again. And I was thinking about how I felt about things, about my point of view. So, fortunately, I didn't feel any hatred or anything toward that person. It was just my mind just overgoing. And so I repeated my mantra. Repeat my mantra. It's called japa, when you repeat the mantra over and over again. And it wasn't working. So then I even had to put my hands like this as I was repeating my mantra. In other words, almost like pleading with the Supreme. Okay, I'm done. Can I now just sleep? And can we now take that away? So even repeating the mantra with a hand gesture like this. And, in the morning I woke up and I thought about it again. But then I had to get up and I had to do things, and it went away. So you can take from that to repeat the mantra over and over again to cancel out any negative thoughts or any negative memory of something. Like when you're still thinking about some uncomfortable situation. And also to observe, just observe the thing. Don't hate the person. Let's see, Christina has a lot of comments. Wonderful. Let's see, well, first of all, Hitendra says, hurt people. See the broken-hearted 8 years old in everyone. See the broken-hearted 8-year-old in everyone. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that suggestion. I think that helps so much. Visualize that person as an 8-year-old. How evil is an 8-year-old? Not evil at all. And see, we're, like my son he's 9 months. And already in 9 months, I notice when he's angry. I notice when he's shy and ashamed. I notice when he's worried. These things are programmed. We're wired to feel these propensities, even 8-year-olds. But you can't blame them. You can't blame the child for being shy, ashamed, angry. It's just a part of the psyche. So people, as they get older, they will continue that. They will be those things if they don't learn how to control it. And so we have to learn how to control our perspective of it if they can't control themselves. And also know how to defend ourselves if necessary. So let me take a look here at the chat and see what Christina said. She says, when dealing with people whom I find difficult, I remind myself that everyone is on a journey. Coming across them is a part of my expansion. Very good. To this end, I once heard it said that we polish rough stones by tumbling them against one another. This is a salient point to recall as we interact with people who hold different worldviews. I also think it's important to identify the reason why we find them difficult. Are they maliciously seeking to fragment relationships? Are they simply different from us? Sometimes people can be perfectly kind but tough to get along with because they violate norms of society or there's a disconnect in communication styles. For example, some people come across as disagreeable due to static, hard facial expressions, but they feel positive emotions within. And Christina totally agrees with Hitendra. So thank you, Christina, for those precious stones of wisdom there. That, yes, we're all rough stones tumbling with one another in like a bag. We're all different worlds colliding. That's how it seems, at least, from our point of view. Of course, we yogis would say that we're all one. That person, yes, another looks like an external being, but both that person and I are internal to the Supreme. So to the Supreme, we're both its children. To me, that's my enemy, let's say. But to the Supreme, that's his daughter or her daughter. And so then these worlds collide. But actually, they're all within one world. And it's tough. People's minds, in a relationship, a partnership. I mean, it's so hard to just have your own mind, to know what you want to do with your life. Imagine two minds coming together, trying to decide what to do. It's going to involve a lot of patience, negotiation, compromise, willingness to be of service to the other, because the two minds will want different things. So it's beautiful when our minds become one, when we all want the same thing. Something that makes our meetings so blissful is that we all in this moment just want peace. We all just want the supreme consciousness. So our minds become unified in that goal, and we feel this amazing harmony. But it's not always that way with people, obviously. And Hitendra says, I really do appreciate the stone metaphor. I try to, and then Peggy says, I try to be aware of my karma and give space to others to create theirs. So I try to be aware of my actions, my karma, and give people space to create theirs. Absolutely. You know, that's a really good way of looking at it. You know, sometimes if somebody's angry, if somebody's being difficult, let them be. Let them be exactly as they are. It's not a reflection on you. Don't let it be. Sometimes parents really try to push their children to be a certain way because they might feel vanity. They might think that it's a reflection on them. Others will judge them based on how their children act. If my child, my child is, he's not a good athlete, he's like the worst one on the team, parents will take the child home and say, okay, we're going to practice every day until you get this right. And what's worse is they might do it because they feel judged by others. So like a parent that feels judged by the teacher. So the teacher says, oh, your child's not doing well in this class. So the parent now goes home and tries to really push the child. But sometimes we have to just let the child be. Let the people be as they are. Let them say what they want to say. And try not to take it personally. It's not a reflection of you. And then Hitendra saying, to the Supreme, some of us are the negative, repetitive thoughts. Yes. I kept that night that I was thinking about that situation. I was that annoying, repetitive thought in the Supreme's mind. Repeating that thing over and over again. Hopefully I wasn't annoying it too much with repeating my mantra over and over again. Probably it was more annoying the other stuff that I kept repeating in the mind. That's very good. I love that comment very much. Because if you think about it, let's say that I caused that problem. Let's say that it was something I said that set somebody off. And now at night, I'm thinking about the fight that we essentially had. And I can't get over it. So, you see, action, reaction. Action, reaction. Like Peggy said, karma, and then samskara, like reaction. So, if I caused some problem, and there was reactions, I can't just go to the Supreme and say, please, 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 please take this away, take this away, take this away. The Supreme will say, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I created a universe of cause and effect, cause and effect. If you cause something, there will be an effect. And tonight, you're going to have to feel the effect. But don't worry. The effect will go away once it has run its due course. And next time, make better actions. Cause positive things to effect. Now, the Supreme may do that. And so if I am burdening the Supreme, saying, please, please help me take away these things, these reactions, take away these things that are happening that were because of my fault, my cause, it could be unfair. And on the other hand, of course, the Supreme loves you so much. Offer those reactions to the Supreme, and the Supreme will take them as well. Two different ways of looking at it. But the first way is important so we can be responsible for our actions. Sadhana says, first breath, and remind myself that everybody around us is an image of God. I put myself in other people's situation, listen and trying to understand the reason behind this difficult attitude. You sound like sadhana. Your name reflects what you're saying here. That's a beautiful practice. Sadhana means spiritual practice. So, and I was chatting about this with a friend. Yes, it is so helpful to see the other as yourself, or see the other as God, because that's what they are. Now we're yogis. We practice this madhuvidya, it's called, this honey knowledge of the knowledge that all is the Supreme. And I think that that's very helpful. Like we said earlier, imagine the other person as an 8-year-old. Why? Because then you feel love for the 8-year-old. You feel like you could even hold the 8-year-old and help them, understand them. And if you see the other as yourself, it's very easy now to have more compassion, because you wouldn't want you would want others to treat you with compassion. So, I'm going to practice that next time I have some difficult person in front of me. I'm going to just see them as me. And if I love myself enough, I will treat them with love. And then if I see them as the Supreme, I'll just surrender and do what is needed in the moment, but not exceed any maliciousness from my part, because I see them as the Supreme. Or judgment. Thank you, Sadhana. Thank you so much for that comment. Let's see here. Over on Facebook, Noelia says, that was powerful. Thank you, Noelia. You're referring to the meditation, I hope, I think. Thank you so much. No problem. The Supreme is doing everything, and I'm glad you liked it. Maybe we will do more sort of meditations like that here. Okay? You might notice some changes coming up in our program, in our topics. Glad you like that. And then Noelia says, I have difficult conversations with people all the time. I find that reframing the interaction that way helps me. I use pranayama to come back into my heart center because I accumulate a lot of heat there when I feel angry. Then I realize it's an opportunity to help me grow. Ah, bingo! Ding, 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 ding. Make sure you take away what Noelia said today, that these difficult people are also good because we grow from them. We grow. If they have criticized something we've said, or they don't disagree, they don't agree with something, well, now we have an opportunity to reframe and reflect. Am I doing things correctly? I mean, we should value our critics and our enemies, because thanks to them, we modify our behavior. Our friends are always like, oh, I love you, buddy. I love you, bro. Yeah, go for it. I love you, bro. Or I love you, sis. And it's all good. But our critics help us to recheck and modify our mistakes. So we should actually appreciate our enemies sometimes more than our friends. Because our friends will tend not to point out our mistakes, and we can't grow. And you said use pranayama. Well, yes, there's many types of pranayama, very advanced forms of pranayama. I would recommend just the simple pranayama, breathing in deeply, holding the breath for a moment, breathing out. Deep breathing really helps to focus the mind, has such a powerful effect on the mind, on thinking, on visualizing. If you're breathing fast, you can't think or visualize very well. That's why we slow the breath down first in meditation before getting to the mantra in our meditation here. Jennifer saying, Namaskar, I came a bit late. Not a problem. Thank you for coming. It's important to turn insults into meaningless words. The moment you feel intent, angry towards a situation, walk away, then come back with a calm frame of mind. That's very good too. To dislodge, to let go, and come back. In that moment of letting go, the insight comes in. But sometimes when we're too fixed on something, we don't get the answers we're seeking. We often get the answers in times when we're not even thinking about problems. You may have experienced sometimes you're just in the shower and you get a great idea. It's like, what? I wasn't even trying to have great ideas. They come in moments when you are relaxed, when you have let go of situations and problems. So thank you for sharing that, Jennifer, also known as Jayati in our community here. Shannon, I find that when I truly look within myself and see why I find that person's behavior upsetting, it is something within myself that I do, not like reflected in that person. It is easier for me to reject the person's behavior than accept my own faults. So that is also true. If we are very judgmental with ourselves, we can judge others a lot more. If we're very forgiving with ourselves, we can forgive others a lot more. If people have hurt us a lot, we are likely to hurt others. If people have given us a lot of compassion and understanding, we're likely to afford that to other people as well. And so sometimes when we judge somebody, we don't like somebody, there's something within them that it's possible that they're reflecting something of ourselves that we don't like. And so it would be good to think about that. So and then like Shannon said, it could be easy to just dismiss somebody and not see either the learning situation in that person or in what has happened, or not see yourself in that person and take the time to empathize. It's much easier to change the channel, but if you try to stop and understand the program, what's going on there, it'll lead to deeper insight, better habits for dealing with these situations. So it's nice to try to take a moment to understand and empathize with somebody. Let's see here. Thank you, Shannon. And then Jayati says, sometimes and in some ways a difficulty or difficult person can teach you a lesson and grow. Whatever the issue that they are going through, just remember that it has nothing to do with you, and try to look at them as a mirror. Put yourself in their image and see from their perspective. Yes. Exactly. So if they're a mirror, then you see yourself. Right? And you can have a lot more compassion. And we have a couple more comments. Let's see here. Wrong place. Sorry. Hitendra says, I work to feel how difficult it must be to have a soul contract to live a life filled with fear, anger, and hatred with no hope of change. Yes, I am grateful, happy, joyful, and thankful for the experience and the test I get to pass. Yeah, some people have it worse than us, and our job is to help them. If anything, by within ourselves being compassionate. That might be the least we can do. When somebody cries, we should cry with them. When somebody laughs, we should laugh with them. There's no escaping this planet, we're all in it together. So we should try to do the best with one another that we can. And Christina says, I've certainly experienced what Shannon's speaking about. At times, the difficulty can arise from something about ourselves and exists or that we fear will exist at some point.